Alrighty, time for round two, and snap keeping this one. After ignoble crushing in round one, this hand seems pretty sweet. Can maybe eat something, buy some time with some malevolence, then reckless scholar into like twins. Sounds sweet. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to this reckless scholar. Hound of the Firebolg's looking a little bit sketchy again, but hey, you know what? We can discard it and then buy it back sometime later with our Gisa and Generalf. Perhaps I should have looked up how you're actually meant to pronounce that. But then that would ruin, half the fun of no one knowing how to pronounce anything. I just figured it would be the same as Giralf, since I assumed that's how that's pronounced, so Gisa would make sense. Who knows, maybe it's actually Geyser or something. That would be outrageous. Looks like the opponent is taking significant amount of time to do things, so maybe that's just temporary, but if they keep it up, this video might end up being a bit choppy, removing extended periods of being AFK. Great. These are the worst two cards in our deck, basically, because they're just here to enable our zombie mythic. Foul Emissary. Well, I can certainly destroy that with Borrowed Malevolence. Hopefully they don't hit anything sweet here. I mean, they'll probably hit some sort of creature. But I think killing this off would be a profitable thing. Since emerging it's, really good value. Although, on the other hand, this is actually, a pretty good target too. Well. Here's the twins, the brothers, the siblings, the sisters, all those words. Is them. So the next question is whether I'm supposed to spew off this malevolence on Foul Emissary. I think I still want to madness out the twins. I mean, it's conceivable that I should play my legendary creature, but I think I'd rather discard, some of these a little bit first. 8 of the Horrid Swarm, yeah, that's fair enough. I say I did think about it, but then, given that they showed me an actual threat that I can kill, there was no guarantee that they actually had a merged creature. It's not the end of the world. This card could be annoying. I mean, they're pretty far away from Delirium, but I mean, I'm going to be helping them along a little bit in the mill me strategy. So it's unlikely that they're going to be able to kill this, I would say. Just mill a bunch of lands in a spontaneous mutation. This seems reasonable. So I can loot, discard Hound of the Firebogs, and then start just sending in the Hound over again. I mean, that's not the fastest way to win the game, but I mean, it's fairly inevitable, right? They think they need a 6 toughness guy to block it effectively. I mean, they can trade for it with 3/2s and stuff, but it'll get there one day. I can also just not loot if I think I'm going to be decked and I don't have an answer to this yet. But I think I'm, I can easily use this another bunch of times. It seems like a strictly worse version of this in the current scenario, so I'm obviously not going to be killing this with Malevolence. Get that Hound out of here. I think I'll activate this now, see if I hit land. Which I did, so now I can leave up my Malevolence some more. The value. The value. Has manas. Isn't that sweet? So I think I'm gonna kill this now because I don't want them to untap and have like any random green pump spell to save it, and the ability is kind of annoying. It does leave my shield slightly down, so like if they attack with it of the Horror's form, I don't want to block with twins anymore. Like that would be something that I could have conceivably done with this open, since I could like kill off this. But okie dokie. So they definitely have the board advantage. But I have the inevitability with the Hound, in terms of creatures at least. That's kind of interesting. I think I'm actually going to loot this here to see. Okay, so I'm actually going to bin this cultist because I'm planning to play the docent next. I think I'll take one turn off attacking with the Hound of the Fireball just to play the docent. On the other hand, like using compelling deterrence as a way to save this is a bit worse if I have a zombie in play. But that's okay. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get, like swarmed over too much for the time being. And then I can start going to town with my squad. I kept Olivia's Dragoon over Exultant Cultist because I actually, don't really need to draw more cards since I'm looting and replaying zombies from my graveyard. So I already have like more than enough action, and it costs 3, which is, just slightly less mana efficient. And also the Dragoon can jump to help out, blocking Tattered Haunter and that sort of thing. Do they have another one of these? It would have been fairly relevant that this is a wizard, thus reducing the amount of instant or sorceries I need to cast to flip my docent. But hey. Are they chump blocking? Okay. That's kind of interesting. So I actually think I want to put this first. It's honestly the most threatening thing they have, considering I only have 15 cards in my library, and I know they're reasonably far away from Delirium, but I think this is going to kill them eventually, but it might take a long time. And I would not actually have a long time if this manages to stay alive. And I don't really care too much about the 1/1s, so let's try this. I could have used Compelling Deterrence there to like bounce the 3/2 and kill all of them, but it didn't really seem necessary. Since, you know, I can just replay it again anyway, it's fine. That's fine. I say it's possible that they will just never get Delirium this game, but but if they, let's say they played it in step, like a draw spell or something, and then you know they end up with like an artifact in their graveyard, and suddenly I'm getting decked very quickly. I'm playing an extra land there because I expect to do some scuttling this turn. Okay. Still got my Compelling Deterrence ready to go. Actually, maybe I should have played my land there at all. But, oh well, whatever. I think I'm going to take the Borrowed Malevolence rather than Drag Under. I mean, normally I wouldn't do it that way around, but they have, you know, multiple 1 toughness guys around, and it's pretty relevant. The +1/+1 as well on this board. And right, okay. Sweet. I did cool things there. No complaints. I don't see a whole lot that I really want to board in. These guys seem great against them since they probably don't have very much in the way of ways to deal with it. Like maybe they can fight it with a 4/4 or something, but probably not a whole lot. Yeah, okay. And the fireballs look great that game with the associated rare. Obviously, without the rare, they would have been a bit mopey. this hand's quite something. It's not that far off the last hand either, since now that I'm having my sweet mythic, maybe they'll whip open a hound out the top of my deck, and I'll just go bonkers again. Ah, the scribe. Oh, the docent. That's fine, no. I have a waltz somewhere in my deck. And, you know, they're just digging me closer and closer to my hound. Catalogue, main phase. Well, Looks like they might get Delirium this game. Still not too much going on for the time being. But yeah, if this hits the Hound, then I think we're in great shape. If they don't, then I guess it's okay. So that's quite interesting, since I really don't want to give them Delirium earlier than they would otherwise get it. Which might happen if I do this, because then you can just like play a sorcery the turn after. So I guess, so if they like have a fight card, I would rather them not be able to fight my sweet mythic. So I'm going to play this next turn with Malevolence open to kill off the Narwood Dryad. If they do try to prey upon or something, you know. Also, that would also play around Convolute because they had 3 mana open last turn. Well, there's an Ingenious Scab. And 3 lands off the top of my deck, which was actually top result. So now I get a free Scab, hopefully. And they're emerging this. Great, that was honestly the card that I saw the whole game that was the most threatening to me. So I mean, maybe they just can't get Delirium or something, because they're throwing it away awfully casually. But you know, that's, I'm not going to complain about that for sure. Behold. And no attacks. So I mean, this thing can trade with it of the Horrid Swarm with only minor help. And by minor help, I mean using its own ability a couple of times. Vessel of Paranoia. Well, see, it's not Paranoia at all. Paramnesia. Well, I actually don't think I've properly read that card's name before. Alright, so they could have had it. They could have put me on a very swift, non-combat based clock, which I would have struggled to get through. Yeah, gotta block it. It's basically free. I can cast this all day. It's the twins. Okie dokie. Things are looking fairly solid at the moment. I really want to just like exile all the effects in the stack just one time. And they gave me the Hound. The Hound. Foul Emissary. Now I could like respond to this with Malevolence. Because if they like reveal something with the merge, then they'll immediately have priority, then be able to do it. Oh well, got punished if they do it right away. Like I say, I could have done it with it on the stack, but ground creatures not really too scary. Like, even though this is like a good creature and it's gonna put this on top of my deck, I still don't care. I have, you know, 18 draw steps left in my deck, and each turn I can like throw a large scab or a hound directly at their face hole. So if I do some malevolence here, give this thing +1/+1, give this one -1/-1. I mean, I don't strictly necessarily need to give this -1/-1, but I'm gonna like just... No, actually no, I punted that. That was wrong. I forgot about the prowess, just punting. I could have like killed an insect and then still traded here. But I mean, I guess this means I don't need to actively replay the scab, so it's not a horrible punt. I was just... would have rather taken it off the board. It wasn't like a game-losing punt, I think, but they should hopefully be down an insect rather than me having this in play, which weirdly enough would have been better because it would have just been more or less free. I mean, I'm decking myself a little bit. I milled a bunch of dudes and a compelling deterrence. Feels bad. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, man, I made a mess of that, and my opponent congratulating me on the well playedness of it. No attacks this time. I guess I can emerge this out now, sacking the scab. Deterrent seems like a good card to get back. I mean, I'd quite like this in play because it can like trade here, and then if I ever draw Macabre Waltz, yeah, I can do some fun stuff. They probably don't have too many relevant draws. It's not unheard of to lose this game, I'm sure. Like there are plenty of good cards out there in the set. I'm risking, you know, being mildly blown out by a combat trick, but not by that much. I don't really need to keep up compelling deterrence anymore. For this turn at least. I think they've clearly not got anything since they didn't do very much last turn other than trade off. So yeah, it's possibly greedy. Could have just held on to this. But yeah. Glorious victory for, well, just the siblings over here, which I really wanted to maximize my deck, and you know, this is what happens when you draw it.